The young and the restless spoilers Aristotle Dumas is not merely another corporate adversary in the high-stakes world of Genoa City, he is a man driven by emotions as powerful as any boardroom strategy. To understand why he has set his sights squarely on Victor Newman, rather than Jack Abbott or any other Abbott scion, it is necessary to explore the tangled web of love, betrayal, ambition, and vengeance that has shaped his life. In this detailed exploration, we will unravel Dumas's hidden past, the shock that led Victor to discover his deepest secret, and the poetic justice Aristotle now seeks as he maneuvers to reclaim both his lost love and a measure of revenge. At the center of this drama lies Nikki Newman, once known to Aristotle simply as Nicole Nikki Reid, an art student whose fierce independence and irrepressible spirit captivated him from the moment they met in college. Their youthful romance was the stuff of legends on campus, stolen kisses beneath ancient oak trees, laughter echoing through empty lecture halls, and whispered promises of a future built on shared dreams. Aristotle was the first to recognize Nikki's potential, not only her beauty, but her intelligence, her kindness, and her unwavering loyalty. In his mind, their love was destined to last a lifetime. Then Victor Newman arrived. A venture capitalist with an ironclad handshake and a vision of corporate empire, Victor saw in Nikki both a partner and an emblem of success. He courted her with luxury and grand gestures that dwarfed Aristotle's modest offerings, red roses delivered by limousine, private dinners at five-star restaurants, and whispered assurances that together they would conquer the business world. Nikki, vulnerable to Victor's confidence and captivated by the world he promised, began to drift away from the earnest sincerity of her college sweetheart. To Aristotle, it felt like a cruel eclipse, an unimaginable betrayal. The woman he loved, the one person he believed would stand by him through any hardship, had traded the simplicity of their connection for the glittering glamour of Victor Newman's world. The break was abrupt and painful. Aristotle watched as Nikki severed ties. No calls, no letters, no explanation beyond a few cold words about moving on and focusing on my future. In the immediate aftermath, Aristotle was furious and heartbroken. But as time passed and Victor's star continued to rise, Aristotle's fury took on a new shape, cold, calculated ambition fueled by the memory of the love he had lost. If Victor could win Nikki by building an empire, Aristotle would build an empire of his own. One powerful enough to challenge Newman Enterprises and reclaim, at least symbolically, the heart Victor had stolen. Over the years, rumors of Aristotle Dumas's success spread quietly through corporate circles. He founded a financial consultancy that specialized in rescuing endangered family businesses, earning him a reputation for discretion and ruthless efficiency. Yet beneath the polished veneer of boardroom presentations and shareholder reports lay the seething purpose that drove him. A singular focus on undermining Victor Newman's power and reminding Nikki of what she had abandoned. Every strategic acquisition, every hostile takeover he orchestrated, carried with it the unspoken message that Victor's empire was neither invincible nor eternal. For decades, Aristotle operated from the shadows, content to let Victor remain unaware of the personal vendetta guiding his actions. But when Nikki's name resurfaced as the new matriarch of Newman Enterprises, Aristotle recognized the opportunity for a decisive strike. He cultivated alliances within the Winters family, longtime rivals of the Newmans, and positioned himself as a champion of their interests. By offering to safeguard Winters Industries against hostile overtures, he ingratiated himself with powerful allies while simultaneously tightening the noose around Newman Enterprises, inch by inch. This slow-burn strategy required patience, and Aristotle had it in abundance. Yet his plan hinged on maintaining the secrecy of his true connection to Nikki. He could not permit Victor, or Nikki herself, to realize that the man orchestrating Chancellor's rumored boardroom coup was her first love and former fiancé. To expose that link too early would risk derailing his carefully constructed alliances and turning Nikki against him once more. Instead, Aristotle leveraged his legal acumen and the cover of professional detachment, briefing only a select circle of confidants on his personal motivations while presenting to the world the visage of a consummate businessman. Victor, for his part, remained oblivious until an offhand remark from a board member triggered the chain of events that would reveal Aristotle's secret. It happened during a tense strategy meeting at Newman Enterprises, when Victor was poring over share registers for Chancellor Industries. A junior executive, seeking to ingratiate himself with Victor's inner circle, mentioned that Aristotle Dumas had once been romantically linked to a Reed family scion, not the Wallingford branch, but a younger Reed whose sister is now a celebrity. The name Reed echoed in Victor's mind, and with a chill he recognized that the Reed in question must be Natalie Reed, Nikki's birth surname. A pall descended over the room as Victor absorbed the implication. The man threatening their corporate hold had once been intimately entwined with the woman he loved. The revelation struck Victor like a physical blow. Nikki sat beside him, eyes wide with disbelief. The years of Cold Wars fought across spreadsheets and legal filings suddenly gained a new, bitter edge. Victor's first instinct was rage, at Aristotle for daring to challenge him, at Nikki for keeping this secret, and at himself for underestimating an opponent so personally motivated. But beneath the rage lay a deeper recognition. Aristotle's vendetta was rooted in heartbreak, not mere greed. This knowledge would prove to be both his greatest vulnerability and his most potent weapon. Aristotle, having anticipated that Victor would eventually learn the truth, prepared his next moves with meticulous care. He arranged for a discreet meeting with Nikki, hoping to rekindle the embers of their youthful bond. He offered her partnership in a new venture, a testament to his enduring faith in her talents and a gesture that served both affection and strategy. To Victor, this must have seemed a brazen bid to re-establish a foothold in Nikki's life, but to Aristotle, it was a necessary step toward reclaiming the respect and connection he believed they once shared. He hoped that by demonstrating his success and unwavering devotion, Nikki might see him not just as a ghost from her past, but as a viable partner for the future. Meanwhile, in the corridors of power at Chancellor Industries and Winters Enterprises, Aristotle executed the final phases of his corporate campaign. He leveraged the momentary chaos at Newman Enterprises, seizing keyboard votes and influencing shareholder sentiment. Rumors that Nikki was torn between loyalty to Victor and curiosity about Aristotle's resurgence swirled through Genoa City's social circles, undermining Victor's authority and sowing uncertainty among his closest allies. Each clandestine negotiation, each late-night phone call and sealed envelope, moved Aristotle closer to his ultimate goal, to wrest control of Chancellor and exact the symbolic victory that would lay bare Victor's vulnerabilities. Yet for all his strategic brilliance, Aristotle's plan was not without risk. The emotional stakes ran high, and any misstep could prove catastrophic. If Nikki reaffirmed her commitment to Victor, or if Victor managed to rally enough allies to thwart the takeover, Aristotle's house of cards would collapse, exposing his motives and inviting ruinous retaliation. Even worse, he risked reawakening the heartbreak he had spent decades trying to master. The line between personal and professional blurred with every calculated move, the ache of lost love and the thrill of potential triumph intertwined, driving him forward even as they threatened to tear him apart. As Genoa City braces for the inevitable showdown, the question on everyone's mind is whether Aristotle Dumas can achieve his twin aims of rediscovering Nikki's love and delivering a dose of poetic justice to Victor Newman. The outcome will redefine alliances, reshape corporate empires, and perhaps, if the heart is willing, offer a second chance to a love thought lost to time. In the cutthroat landscape of high finance and high emotion, Aristotle Dumas stands poised to prove that sometimes the greatest battles are fought not with contracts and courtrooms, but with the deepest yearnings of the human heart. And when the final act is played out, Genoa City will bear witness to the most compelling drama it has ever known, one where love and vengeance collide in a dance as old as time itself. In the hush of the Newman family study, the crackling firelight casts long, wavering shadows across the polished mahogany floors as Victor Newman's steely gaze fixes on Nikki. His voice, measured and relentless, breaks the silence. "Tell me everything, Nikki. From the beginning." At the first tremor in her posture, he leans forward, fingers curling around the armrest of his chair as though bracing for impact. Nikki's composure shatters in that moment. Her carefully maintained poise gives way to tremulous tears, and her voice quivers as she admits the truth she has long buried, years ago, before the glare of boardroom spotlights and the weight of the Newman surname settled on her shoulders. She was in love with another man. His name, spoken in a whisper, is Aristotle Dumas. The confession falls like a thunderclap inside the room. Victor's face darkens, pride wounded as deeply as his ego. He has always known that Nikki carried scars beneath her flawless exterior, losses and betrayals that colored her decisions, but the revelation that she once belonged, heart and soul, to a man outside the gilded world of Genoa City cuts sharper than any corporate betrayal. Nikki recalls how Dumas, then a driven but impecunious art student with dreams beyond his modest means, had loved her fiercely. He had seen not only her beauty but her intellect, her compassion, and he had promised her a life built on partnership and mutual respect. But the young Aristotle lacked the financial heft and social connections that Victor Newman wielded effortlessly. When Victor appeared, brimming with confidence and the promise of power, Nikki found herself at a crossroads. One path led to the uncertain promise of true love with Aristotle, the other to the promise of security and success by Victor's side. Fearful of a future defined by struggle, she made the choice she believed was right, an anguished decision that still echoes with regret. As Nikki's tears fall, Victor senses both triumph and remorse stir within him. He realizes that his legacy, Newman Enterprises, a colossus whose every triumph has been etched with Nikki's name, was built upon the sacrifice of a love he never fully appreciated. Yet his voice hardens when he demands to know why Aristotle has resurfaced now. Nikki, wiping her cheeks with the back of her hand, confesses that she has received letters, carefully typed notes without return addresses, each one brimming with the same plea: let us rebuild what we once had. Dumas's words combine longing and sorrow, an invitation to revisit the past and perhaps reclaim what was lost. Nikki admits she has not responded. Her loyalty to Victor, complicated by years of shared victories and heartbreaks, remains unbroken. But the ache of old wounds, reopened by Dumas's overtures, leaves her more vulnerable than she wishes to show. Victor's next question breaches his habitual reserve: why now? Why reveal this to me? His tone betrays a flicker of fear that he has been blindsided, that his greatest adversary was never the rival board member but the ghost of a man he once dismissed. Nikki meets his gaze through blurred vision and answers with trembling honesty. Aristotle's menacing influence has been felt across the city, his quiet maneuvers threatening not only Newman's hold on Chancellor Industries but also the very stability Nikki worked so hard to preserve. He has cultivated allies within the Winters family and whispered promises of corporate salvation, wrapping them in the hushed reverence that accompanies a crusader returning to reclaim his cause. By keeping his identity hidden, Dumas has managed to leverage both the power of anonymity and the weight of his personal vendetta. Victor stands, pacing the length of the room, recalling every moment of arrogance when he dismissed rumors of a shadowy challenger. He now realizes that Dumas's strategy has always been twofold: to dismantle Victor's empire piece by piece and to remind Nikki of the man she once vowed to love. The intertwining of professional and personal warfare fascinates Victor even as he vows to crush it. He returns to Nikki's side, placing a hand on her shoulder, the warmth of his grip both protective and possessive. He promises her that Aristotle's gambit, no matter how cleverly orchestrated, will fail. He will expose Dumas's motivations, reveal his identity to the public, and ensure that the man who nearly stole Nikki's heart pays the price for his audacity. Meanwhile, in the shadowed corners of Genoa City, Aristotle Dumas prepares for the confrontation he has waited decades to stage. His past poverty, the launchpad for his boundless ambition, fuels each calculated move. He recalls the days when he and Nikki would sketch grand designs for a joint art gallery, the paint-stained floorboards of his cramped studio echoing with laughter and promise. Those memories kindled his resolve. If Victor could secure Nikki's hand on the strength of a bank account, then Aristotle would amass an empire strong enough to topple Victor from within. He has built alliances with the Winters clan, once natural adversaries of the Newmans, offering them both financial levers and an emotional appeal rooted in shared history. Each handshake, each whispered assurance, has drawn Chancellor's board members deeper into his web, setting the stage for a decisive takeover. Yet Aristotle understands the precariousness of his position. Should Victor discover the depth of his personal connection to Nikki before the opportune moment, the court of public opinion could rally behind the Newman legacy, quashing Dumas's plans with a surge of protective fervor. Therefore, he has orchestrated his campaign with the precision of a master tactician. Hostile bids masked as strategic investments, late-night calls disguised as standard due diligence, and leaks to the press hinting at Chancellor's vulnerability. While Victor and Nikki grapple with the shock of the past, Dumas quietly consolidates power behind the scenes, confident that when the moment arrives, he will strike with both personal vindication and corporate prowess. As Victor assembles his legal and boardroom defenses, Nikki retreats into a private world of reflection, haunted by the memory of her youthful love and tormented by the knowledge that her choice, made in fear of poverty, now casts a long shadow over her present. She oscillates between gratitude for Victor's unwavering support and a pang of longing for the innocence she once knew with Aristotle. Each night, she reviews the letters she has hidden in a locked drawer, debating whether to confront the emotions they stir or to consign them forever to the past. Genoa City stands on the brink of upheaval. In the corridors of power, alliances shift like desert sands under a scorching sun. Victor's formidable resources, legal teams, media influence, and corporate alliances clash with Aristotle's carefully cultivated network of Winter's loyalists and strategic shareholders. Nikki's torn heart becomes both battlefield and prize, the emotional stakes amplifying every corporate maneuver. Will Victor's authority and unyielding will prove enough to protect his legacy and the woman he loves? Or will Aristotle's combination of personal devotion and tactical brilliance deliver the poetic justice he has long craved, a moment when Victor Newman, the man who once usurped his love, tastes the bitterness of defeat? In this high-stakes game where love and vengeance collide, the only certainty is that nothing will ever be the same for Victor, Nikki, or Aristotle. When the final boardroom vote is cast and the last letter is read, Genoa City will witness the culmination of a saga that spans decades, a story of youthful passion eclipsed by ambition, of choices made in desperation, and of the enduring power of the human heart to forgive and to exact retribution. The question is whether Nikki will find the courage to confront both her past and her present, and whether Victor can reconcile his ferocious love with the knowledge that the very foundation of their life together was built upon the sacrifice of another's dreams. In that crucible of emotion and corporate warfare, the true victor will be the one who holds fast to love without allowing it to become the weapon that destroys them all.